Week 6 has concluded its shift, and yes, this is an impromptu podcast because your boy Sully, the owner of the DFS Deli, has a lot to say non-DFS related. After a shift, chill when you gotta clean up and you gotta take out the trash at the end of the night to get ready for your next shift. Well, this is what we're gonna do tonight on the DFS Deli because we got a lot of trash to talk about around the NFL. So join us tonight on the DFS Deli. Sign is open. Go. And welcome into the DFS Deli. I am the proprietor of this delicatessen, Saleh Ali Shahid, and I am joined tonight on in an impromptu conversation about the state of certain teams and situations in the NFL. My man Chill has decided to jump on with me, working a little overtime shift for your boy as we get prepared to watch the Guardians take on the Yankees in game 1 and the conclusion of the week 6 slate with the Buffalo Bills taking on the New York Jets. Chill, welcome, man. Thanks for picking up the shift tonight. I appreciate you. How's everything going?
I mean, it's going good. I had the day off from my other job because of the holiday, so I figured I'd pick up some holiday pay, on a Monday here for, Indigenous People Day or Columbus Day or whatever they call it now. I don't know. I just got the day off.
Yeah, I was told today, surprisingly, that it was Indigenous People Day. What
Yeah.
then? I don't
Yeah,
know. But
I know. I know. A couple years ago, they changed it for Columbus Day because he was a piece of shit. Whatever. Again, that's political. We're here to talk about football. Uh, you know, Again, I think there is a lot of trash around the league. We'll bounce. We'll just get ready to. We'll get the big bags, the hefty bags.
oh
We
yeah,
need.
oh yeah,
Uh,
we're
you
gonna need some
know,
hefty bags.
we need a John Cena esque appearance, from him doing them hefty commercials. But let's get ready to dive on into some trash. We got a lot of trash here locally. And I'm sure we'll cover that. So wherever you want to lead us, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And normally, what we do here on the DFS Deli is that we like to talk fantasy football, and that's the state of the game here on the channel. But at the same time, I would like to switch some things up, do some recaps, do some non DFS related things. So if you're not here for that, I completely understand. But if you're here for another topic, just to hear me and my man Chill talk about the state of the NFL and some certain teams and situations, then by all means, stay. Hit the like and subscribe button. It helps me a lot, trust me. And this is a way to vent some frustration, as it were, because the DFS season for me isn't going too great. The the other side of fantasy, the yearly side, that's going it's going swimmingly, actually. So at least there's a positive aspect of fantasy football that is going well. But I was inspired this morning while I was at the gym. Because my one of my better friends, Matthew John Studer, texted me related to fantasy football, and then it got on to real life football, and I was sending him books of text about certain situations around the NFL. Who deserves to get fired? Who deserves to be benched? Who deserves everything that they need, that they deserve around the NFL? And it just kind of sparked a trend, a conversation that I wanted to have with you, of course, and you, the people at home. Well, those of you who are listening on the audio version, of course, by all means, like I said, do the things that help your boy out and make sure you subscribe. And whenever we upload a episode of the DFS Deli, you'll be notified because normally you see us on Wednesdays, but this a Monday night. It still feels right. There's still NFL in the air. There's still a lot to talk about. So thank you, Matt, for inspiring this particular conversation because last week we couldn't upload an episode and due to technical difficulties. And we spent about 20 minutes talking about the Deshaun Watson conundrum, situation, problem. as it were. And I think we need to break down a few things. So, where do I want to start? Because the Browns aren't the only thing we need to cover. Because Jacksonville, you're trash. We need to talk about you for a little bit. Dallas, you're trash. We need to talk about you a little bit. And I'm pretty sure there's some other situations that we'll harp on when we get to it. But let's start locally in Cleveland, because as bright as the sun of the Cleveland Guardians are shining, there's a dark cloud still hovering above our little spotlight right there. And it's called the Cleveland Browns. So, Chill, where do you want to start, actually? Because I deviated to the topic of the Browns. Do we start with Watson? Do we start with the front office? Do we start with where should we begin of this discussion?
I mean, if we're being real about it, the Browns have been one of the worst run organizations since they came back in like what, 99, right? Is that when they came back? 99. I mean, this all stems from ownership, right? Like, we'll get to Watson here in a second, but like Watson, it's not like Watson pays himself. It's not like, we had a quarterback here, actually, like two. We had two quarterbacks here that did the job better than he did recently. Again, man, this is a Haslam thing. You've heard the expression, you can't fire your owner. There's, you said the Cowboys. I'm sure the Cowboys would like to fire their GM, the owner's son, the owner's other son. Like, your last name is Jones. You probably need to find your way out of Dallas, but that we'll get to that when we need to. Um, this all stems from ownership, right? Like, if it was up to Stefanski, this dude would have been benched. He would have been benched a couple games in, like, or we would have kept Flacco. I mean, but when you're sitting on this contract, which is the worst contract in the history of the NFL,
Without
the
question.
the
Without
Browns
question.
the Browns literally, and this is not even like NFL based. This is sports based. Soccer, hockey, baseball. They are in the worst situation out of any team in any sport, and I don't even think it's close. Um, it's apparent that the owner does not want Watson benched. I would be very surprised if he. I think it's going to have to be weeks until he gets benched, but I mean, at this point, to me, this is a Haslam problem. Yes, Deshaun is awful. He's terrible. But if Stefanski has no power, what can we do, right? Again, you can't fire your owner.
Haslam is the guy at the poker table that keeps losing and won't get up. He just
Yep,
literally keeps reaching into his bankroll and
yep,
keeps losing. Every hand
yep,
that he
yep.
gets is a loss. He
He
keeps
keeps
going,
rebuying.
yeah, he keeps going all in, losing and rebuying it. You're absolutely
Mhm.
right. So he is an addict that can't admit that he's wrong. This was, like you mentioned, the worst contract in NFL history, all guaranteed, all of it, every last penny guaranteed. You thought that you were going all in for a guy that had problems before he got here. And I'm not talking about the off-field stuff. That's another issue. But even before he got here, I literally screamed from the top of my freaking lungs every year that Deshaun Watson was overrated. Every year that this dude is not good. Every year. And no one wanted to listen to me. Not a single person. It was stats this and this, that, and blah, 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 blah. And everybody wants to point out the one playoff win that he has under his belt was against a second-year Josh Allen. That's it. That's your highlight reel. So the Houston days are long gone. And now we move to the present day where, like you said, the owner made a trade to give up all this draft capital because they still have none. You get it back next year, but what are you going to do with it? You have to draft a quarterback next year with that pick. And you still have almost $100 million on your payroll because of this guy. The backup quarterback, Joe Flacco, who led us to the playoffs, who has more touchdowns in 3 less games than Deshaun Watson.
Actually has the longest streak in the NFL for 2 touchdown games at 8 in a row.
Deshaun Watson hasn't thrown for over 200 yards this season.
And he's faced some bad teams.
He has not thrown for over 300 yards in his Browns career. I saw Spencer Rattler put up 200 yards plus yesterday. A 6th-round rookie from South Carolina. We can't get that out of Deshaun Watson. So, sans the contract, he's bad. He's very, very bad. Remember, so we're you and I are wrestling fans, of course.
Yep.
This reminds me of when Shawn Michaels lost his smile. The dude has no motivation. His teammates have no motivation to play with him. It's like he's stuck. Everyone's stuck. Amari Cooper, 8-time Pro Bowler, okay, one of the best route runners in the league, leads the NFL in drops because he just don't want to get the ball from this cat.
You know what? I mean, this can kind of correlate. You think Amari gets traded?
He should.
Like, again, you think he gets traded?
He should.
They won't get rid of Judy because obviously, so Judy would just go to number 1. But I could see Amari getting traded.
Amari needs to be traded. He needs to be traded to the Kansas City Chiefs.
I don't even know if he needs to be traded. They won't trade it to him, but I think Amari Cooper needs to get traded to the Ravens.
Listen, I actually like the Ravens idea, but if he does get traded, it'll be the Chiefs or the Jets if they can't land Devontae Adams.
I don't think they're getting Adams.
If they don't get Adams, they'll call Cleveland like, "Hey, we need your boy," because your boy would be motivated, and he would be the guy that can complement Garrett Wilson. Even though for some reason Aaron Rodgers loves the shit out of Alan Lazard. I don't know what that love affair is all about. But
we can get to that situation too. But I mean, maybe the Bills too.
The Bills are a candidate as well. But yes, like I said, they need to trade him. But at the same time, to your point, ownership. Why would Haslam admit he's wrong?
Millionaires never admit they're wrong.
He's wrong. Flacco openly admitted he wanted to come back. He said, nah.
Yep.
Nah. And I love Jameis Winston. Baker loves Jameis Winston. There's a lot of us that love Jameis Winston. Hell, Jameis Winston is probably the most popular quarterback in Cleveland right now. And he ain't played a damn game. Minus, when quarterback sneaks. But it's always the backup quarterback. And what makes the situation worse for Browns fans and ownership and coaching and everything is that if the NFL decided to name an MVP today, Baker Mayfield would be top 3.
He's up there.
So you let an MVP candidate a third of the way through the season go. I understand that he would not be the same guy here. And that's everyone's argument. There's no way Baker would have been the same guy. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder, et cetera, et cetera. That's great. But, they recognized the talent that they had in the guy. The Bucs gave him a chance and then said, you know what? You're the guy. And they didn't even give him that much money. They're making $30 million.
I think to that argument now, listen, I wasn't the biggest Baker Mayfield fan. So, in terms of some of the stuff he did in Cleveland, I was right, but I'm still wrong. He obviously, I think he had maturing issues here. But, also that last season, he was playing with one shoulder. He needed to be benched, and then they could have paid him whatever. And then with Stefanski, he put up numbers. Again, I wasn't a Baker Mayfield guy. He proved me wrong. Kudos to him. I think that 1 year or that little part time he had with McVay and with them, and I think how bad he saw Carolina was, I think it just opened to his eyes to be you know what, this it can go downhill like pretty quick.
Yes.
Um, but like you said, like millionaires never admit they're wrong.
And to your other point about coaching, what is Stefanski supposed to do? What is he supposed to say when he's not calling the shots? Hell, he's not even calling the shots on his own offense.
No,
Ken Dorsey has a different philosophy than Stefanski. They both can't see eye to eye because of the guy taking snaps from center. That offense was fine, thriving almost last year with Flacco. They won a game with PJ Walker. They won a game with DTR. They won, like they were still doing the things that we wanted to see, but yet Deshaun Watson can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
He
I
can't
mean,
do it.
there's just a couple things, right? So like when he first got here, from the rumors that I heard, from what I read, like Watson wanted to be an Atlanta Falcon. He did not want to be here in Cleveland. But when you get thrown some astronomical number, he basically traded his career for the money. Essentially is what he did. And then the other rumor is like Bill O'Brien is on record of stating like we couldn't run my offense. We needed to run Clemson's offense. It's apparent this dude can't read defenses or nothing. Like what the Browns need to do is take a look at another team in their own division. That's only about 2.5 hours that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you got Pittsburgh out here winning with Duck Hodges, Justin Fields. We know Russ is eventually going to start a game here. That's only a matter of time. Mason Rudolph.
Mitch
Again,
Trubisky.
It is, at the end of the day, your quarterback situation, yes, you need talent at the quarterback position. But it comes down to coaching and ownership. If those things are stable, your quarterback just needs to do very little.
Right.
Very little.
I 100% agree. Again, look at the top of our division. Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, I get it. You got a 2-time MVP in Lamar Jackson. They dedicated their entire offense to that dude. And that was it. Coaching, stable. Ownership, stable. All they did was build around him. So it's like, and we'll get to the other situation here, but then when you add the league's leading rusher, the league's leading touchdown scorer, the league's leader in carries, who wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy, speaking of ownership, literally came out and said, I wanted to play with Dallas, and he never picked up the phone. And now you got Dallas as a bottom 3 run game without King Henry.
They have no run game.
They have no run
I don't even think, literally none. But no, you're 100% right. Like, look at, I think Joe Burrow is having a great season. Obviously, like, if Cincinnati had a winning record, he'd be the MVP right now. Statistically, he'd be the MVP. But obviously, they won last night, so were they like 2-4 now?
They're up to 2-4, correct.
2-4. Look at their owner. He don't want to pay Higgins. He barely wants to pay Jamar Chase. That dude paid Burrow and was like, you know what, we're okay. But that's why these organizations consistently struggle. Joe Burrow is winning despite his owner. Deshaun Watson ain't that good. Stefanski can't do it.
But that's the thing, though. That's the thing, man. You have the oldest offense in football. You have one of the highest paid offenses in football. Yes, a lot of that is Deshaun Watson. The majority of that is Deshaun Watson, actually. But you have a 2-time coach of the year, and you have statistically the worst offense in the NFL. You have not cracked 20 points.
And Andy Dalton is a starting quarterback in the NFL. Just want to point that out.
Andy freaking Dalton, who, by the way, threw 2 touchdowns yesterday. Just saying. You know who didn't? Deshaun Watson. He has, over the course of the amount of starts that he has, statistically, one of the worst bottom 5 in NFL history QBRs that surpassed 8. He put up an 8 QBR against Washington. And guess what? That was the second worst of the season. He was worse than that. He was putting up numbers that rival Jamarcus Russell. We have a problem. We've always had a problem. The literal second that we traded for Deshaun Watson, everybody was screaming for the heavens. Oh, Browns this, Browns that. And I literally came on this podcast and told everyone that would listen, the Browns, we're done. There is no shot. None. Everybody wants to know why all this Buffalo shit came out the second we traded for Deshaun Watson. Because all of this Bills blanket, this Bills shit, this cup, this jersey was all Brown stuff. But the second the Browns got Deshaun Watson, I was done. Done. I left town. I still live here, but my allegiance to the Browns cut off right then and there. I was fucking done. And now we want to see the light that we messed up. And every week that goes by, it is more evident that we messed up. The ownership messed up. The Stefanski's going to get himself fired because he's forced to trot this cat out week in and week out. A 2-time coach of the year is about to get fired at the end of the season because that 2-15 record, it's wraps. It's over. The only thing, and I hate to wish this upon anybody. The only way the Browns somehow bounce back is if Watson gets hurt. Simple as that.
Yes, again, not wishing injury upon anybody, of course, but
of course not. No, of course not.
That's the only way they could maybe make a playoff run.
Because they have talent. Chill. They have talent.
They have a ton of talent.
They have the coaches. They have them.
Yep. So, I mean, if Kevin Stefanski gets fired, he'll be on the market for about a week.
Oh, God. Right. Right.
Without question. I mean, if we're looking at teams like New Orleans would hire him because Dennis Allen's getting fired. New Orleans would hire him.
Jacksonville.
I think Jacksonville would hire him. I think the Raiders are inclined to fire Antonio Pierce.
I think he gets another year.
Oh, dude, I don't know, man.
Hey, he needs a quarterback.
Yeah, but if you fire Pierce and then you bring in Stefanski and rookie,
What about the Jets? Who gets that job?
Whoever Aaron Rodgers says gets the job.
You're right. You're right. You're right. What about? Go ahead.
I was gonna say if Aaron Rodgers could have made Nat Hackett the interim head coach, he would have.
Facts. What about Dallas? Because McCarthy's gone. He's gone.
Do you think Jerry Jones is somehow, because if they do bad, right? Let's say they go off the sheet bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think Jerry Jones will bring in Bill? We've seen this run in Cowboys history. They do bad, they got Parcells. They do bad, they got Jimmy. They do bad, they went back to Parcells.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you haven't been to the NFC Championship game since I was like 2.
Facts.
So I think the Cowboys would bring in Bill. I think the Jaguars would bring in Bill Belichick. That's who I think they're going to hire.
Every year is their year. Every year. And guess what? It ain't their year. It's just not. Just not.
But I think the Jaguars would bring in Bill because I think their owner doesn't care about personnel as much. So I think he could defer that to Bill. Bill can coach. Bill would make Trevor Lawrence look relevant because he ain't going to let him throw 30 times a game. Let's be real.
Facts. This is true.
So
This is true.
and and they would be in an easy division in my opinion, minus Houston. But you
Yeah,
know,
I mean, well, obviously Houston is built, from the ground up, but the trend remains. You got to have the quarterback in place. But at the same time, like, and before I switch to the quarterback conversation, and because we'll get to overpaid pieces of trash and what the NFL is kind of trending to. Maybe they're outliers, maybe they're not. But the last thing I'll harp about the Brown situation is that sitting at 1-5, you host Cincinnati next week. 3 division games back to back to back, and then your bye week. The only reason why there won't be 100% booze in that stadium is because Nick Chubb is coming back.
yep.
If Nick Chubb doesn't come back this Sunday, the split millisecond that Deshaun Watson gets off that bus, boo! You suck. You're trash. Get out. You overpaid piece of shit. This, that, and the other. If it wasn't for Nick Chubb, this would be the biggest boycotted game. Not the fans will come, because they're going to see the Browns.
Right.
But literally every second, every snap, every throw, every incomplete pass, heaven forbid he throws an interception, you will hear the loudest boos ever for any quarterback. Ever.
I got one suggestion for head coach for the Browns, which I think makes the most sense. It'd be Mike Vrabel.
Vrabel, yeah. That does make sense. That makes a ton of sense. So, and I was thinking about this today, actually. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I gotta shout somebody out real quick. Hold on, let me grab my phone. Because I have a thread with my buddy Jimmy and Evan, because we talk a lot of good stuff, about the Browns and football in general. And this man, Evan, talking about Deshaun Watson, because I literally said I'm going to jump on and, talk about the state of the NFL, again, the DFS episode of us taking out the trash to get ready for the next week. He said, what did he say? Let's see. Because I want to read this verbatim because I don't want to mess up his words. His passes that travel more than 10 yards downfield have the accuracy of me playing darts after smoking 2 blunts and downing 5 shots of Jaeger. Then he says, actually, I'm more accurate on 5 shots and 2 blunts than Watson.
It doesn't take much.
That's saying a lot. That's saying a lot. And as a Browns fan, coming from him, he's probably one of the nicer ones. That was probably a nice comment.
Probably.
Anywho, so the state of the quarterback position, we're seeing these guys get astronomical money, and we're wondering, is it worth it? Trevor Lawrence obviously just got the bag, 1-5. Is that coaching? Is it Trevor Lawrence? I think it's a hybrid of both. Why'd you give him so much fucking money? Obviously, the Deshaun Watson thing, he's up there with the trash. I mean, he's the pinnacle of the trash. And then Dakota Prescott, $60 million a year. And he looks like absolute shit. Like, his stats are kind of padded from the Ravens game because all they've done was just try and come back, because they set an NFL record for they've been down at halftime at home by more than 15 points 4 consecutive games. That ties an NFL record. In front of your home fans, after you've gotten absolutely eviscerated 4 straight times. And he is not helping the cause. His first interception yesterday, that awful throw when he was trying to hit CeeDee Lamb in the back of the end zone, $60 million. That's what you paid for. You didn't want to call King Henry. No. You paid that guy. Trevor Lawrence, multiple times throughout the season. You paid that guy. Meanwhile, your two leaders in the AFC or the NFC West, Geno Smith, journeyman. You don't pay him nothing. Brock Purdy, who's going to get a bag at some point, but Lord knows what San Francisco is actually willing to pay the man. Winning football games. Sam Darnold, journeyman, undefeated, a perfect 5-0, looking like he should be the MVP of the league. He don't make shit. And the examples go on and on. CJ Stroud on his rookie contract.
Yep.
Anthony Richardson, rookie contract. The Raiders stink, so we can't even bring their journeymen to play. So whatever, they want to lose.
I mean, Aiden O'Connell's rookie contract, and then I don't even know what they paid Gardner Minshew.
It can't be that much. It can't be that much.
No.
But then you go back to the Colts situation, and Joe Flacco, again, who makes nothing, has more touchdowns than Deshaun Watson in 3 less games. What are we doing? What are we doing? I don't understand. In your own division, like you mentioned earlier, Chill, the Steelers brought in 2 guys. They say fight it out for the QB position. We'll be all right. They're second in the division with a winning record. Yep. Justin Fields might have a new home.
He may.
Yeah, they took 2 guys off the scrap heap, and they're winning games.
Yep.
But the Cowboys paying Dakota 60. We're paying Deshaun whatever we're paying him. All guaranteed. Doing nothing but losing football games. Again, Sam Darnold is undefeated. Bo Nix is 500. Like, what are we doing? So I want to ask, because we saw this trend years when teams were paying running backs the astronomical amount of money. And they said, you know what? Nah, we're done with this. We're just going to draft a guy in the later rounds and pound him until his freaking wheels damn near fall off. And then CMC was the last mega deal, and he ain't played a snap this year. So I'm pretty sure they're regretting that at this point. I mean, yes, he was phenomenal last year. They got to the Super Bowl and everything. But, like, they just stopped paying running backs. Like, King Henry don't make that much anymore. Again, league's leading rusher. You don't pay him shit. So are we going to get to the point at the quarterback position, unless your name is Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, maybe throw a couple guys in there, where they say, you know what? We'll get a rookie. Jaden Daniels. Rookie contract. Caleb Williams.
Drake May didn't look that bad.
Drake May didn't even look bad. Right.
He threw 3 touchdowns, more than Deshaun Watson.
You know who didn't? Deshaun Watson.
And Houston's a better defense.
Right.
So to answer your question, the answer is no. You got to remember. Let's take my team. Like, let's take the Dolphins. Let's take the Jags. Let's take the Raiders when they had Derek Carr. When these teams are in quarterback mediocrity, and the Browns can go into this too, when they think they have their guy, they're going to overpay. They're going to overpay. Kirk Cousins has made a fortune off of this. Now, I think Cousins is a good quarterback. I don't know if you're winning a Super Bowl with him, potentially. The last quarterback to kind of get paid and win the Super Bowl actually had to get traded for another quarterback who got paid that didn't win the Super Bowl. And that's Stafford. Other than that, all of these teams were winning on rookie contracts.
Sans Patrick Mahomes.
Up until when? Like, when did he actually get the bag?
4
Because he's
years
won
ago?
three. Because he's won three Super Bowls. He's been to four. So, like, did they make the first one on his rookie deal?
Yeah, he's only got a big contract one time. Like,
Yeah, and now currently, I don't even know if he's in the top 10.
no, no, he's not.
Yeah,
Because
so he's not even
because
getting paid the most.
the bag started escalating with Daniel Jones. Oops.
Who should have never, right? So none of the, yeah, right. Um,
Whoops.
until one of these teams takes a stand and has one of these QBs who they keep for, and I'm not even going to say they get the franchise tag, right? They make you play out that full rookie deal, and if you want to go into a contract situation, they tell you to, screw off and you sit, or they just release you. Miami should have did that with Tua. This final year, they should have put him on the franchise tag. He would have made his 37 million or whatever the hell it is for a year. But like, I get why these quarterbacks don't want to do it because they don't want to get exposed. But until one of these teams tells one of these guys no, they're gonna get the bag. Like, yeah, Jordan Love is having a great season, but like, we don't know. I've seen Derek Carr have great seasons.
Yeah, but that's okay. So the love for the city is one thing, merchandise is another thing, obviously. But even relating to the Green Bay situation, Malik Willis was winning games
Yeah,
and he looked good. So, like,
Matt LaFleur is a good coach. Matt LaFleur and Kevin Stefanski basically come from the same tree, except one of them is allowed to play their quarterback, the other one's not.
yeah, facts. Facts.
Again, PJ Tucker, DTR,
PJ Walker, okay, the former
Walker.
XFL superstar, okay.
All right. But Stefanski was winning with these guys. But
Mhm.
like, until one of these teams grows a set and tells their QB no, ain't never gonna happen. This has been going on since Sam Bradford. How many times that dude got paid?
Sam Bradford had one good year.
And made more money than we will ever make in a lifetime.
But wasn't like his decent year after he left the Rams though? Didn't he go to the Vikings and was like good?
Well, I thought the Eagles signed him, right?
Oh, was it the Eagles? Okay, it was the Eagles. Then. It was the Eagles. It was like
and then he got hurt. Then he got hurt.
and then it was over.
Shocker.
Who was the other guy for the Eagles? Went to the Super Bowl.
Nick Foles?
No. The guy that got hurt. Carson Wentz. That's the last big bag, and they're like, shit, we messed up, didn't we?
Yeah. Yep.
But yes, I 100% agree with you.
I don't think so. I think Carson Wentz was pre the guaranteed money. So it wasn't even that big of a deal to get out of.
That's fair. I think like they have to. So teams, and I agree with your point, 100%. Either a team puts their foot down and says go F off, or you're not getting 250 million guaranteed, bitch. You're gonna get a normal ass contract, and then if you start to suck, get out.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Like the only, and I know the trend is gonna increase the amount of guys that are gonna be like the guy for their city. I know it's going to happen as the years go along, but as we sit here today, Josh Allen in Buffalo, that's your guy. Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, that's your guy. Houston with CJ Stroud, that's the guy. As of now, Jaden Daniels, that's the guy.
And Jaden Daniels is gonna break the bank.
Maybe
Washington,
but he's on his rookie freaking deal. So there is time for him to go old RG3 and suck.
I don't think so.
I mean, I think he's great. I think
he's great, but with obviously new ownership group, if they think that's the guy for new ownership, he's about to break the bank.
He might get paid next year. Say this rookie deal, You're a lifer.
if they win the division and win a playoff game at home, bet.
I mean, I agree. Oh, and add
I mean,
add Jared Goff to that as well, because Detroit loves this dude. Loves him. I mean, I know he just
yeah,
got paid. He just got paid again. And you know what? Rightfully so. I think Jared Goff is a really good top tier quarterback in
I
the NFL.
mean, as of right now, I think Detroit's making the Super Bowl out of the NFC.
I agree, especially the absolute hurt they put on the Cowboys on freaking Sunday. They're running trick plays to linemen. They're running double reverses to their tight end.
I
Like,
mean,
they toyed with the Cowboys in front of their own fans. They toyed with them. There were literally chants across Cowboy Stadium of Jared Goff. Loud chants as well. How do you feel if you're Dak Prescott and you're hearing your home team, your home fans chanting the other quarterback's name? That's like cheating on your wife and she's literally screaming another guy's name. Like, that's what happened. That's literally what happened.
the thing is like I don't think those dudes care.
That's
They got paid.
That's sad.
They're just gonna come to the press conference, be like, "Oh, we had a bad game. I got to do better." Blah 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 blah, and they don't care. I mean, right now the Lions are basically the new San Francisco 49ers. Weapons everywhere, good defense. Obviously, with the loss of Aiden Hutchinson, that's going to
Yeah,
be.
that's a huge
But
blow.
When Detroit goes out and trades for Max Crosby, they'll be fine.
They'll be fine. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Speaking of another team that has poor ownership.
Yeah, it's a little pathetic, isn't it? It's a little bad.
Yep.
It's a little bad. I heard what was I listening to? I think I was listening to the 4-Letter Network on YouTube today, and they were talking about, to go back to the Deshaun Watson point, is that he's lost all of his confidence, right? So he's seeing ghosts in the pocket. He can't deliver an accurate ball, and it's because there is zero confidence. Like, when you play with confidence, when you play with swag, when you play with, I'm the best person on this field and y'all about to feel my fucking wrath, you're a completely different person, right? So, like, the perfect example for me is Baker Mayfield. Again, this dude talks shit all game, and then he just drops buckets on you. Like, once he got into Tampa's situation, once they paid him, like, even before they paid him, he knew he had a chip on his shoulder. Speaking of teams that beat the living breaks off the Cowboys, the Bucks, same deal. You know, it's the same concept. If you don't play this game, if you don't play any game with confidence, you're going to lose. I don't care how much you get paid. You're going to lose. You're going to look like shit. So, from a real life example, and I know, my boy Evan and Jimmy are listening, is that, I'm no pro athlete, obviously, but I do some recreational sports, and Chill, you've bowled with me before.
Yep.
Once I get the chirping, y'all about to feel it. I'm not the best bowler in the county. I'm not the best bowler in the state. I'm not the best bowler on the U.S. But when I get to tournament, everybody knows when I walk in the damn door. Period. And on those lanes, nobody is better than me. I don't give a damn what the stats say. Nobody is better than me. And I fucking prove it, because I got the confidence to say, in the back of my mind, I know I'm not the best one out here, but I'm not going to let nobody see it. I'm going to keep chirping. I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to talk a lot of shit en route to dropping, 250s, 260s, 270s on your ass. But if I didn't have the confidence, it'd be 130, 140, 150. And I'd curl up in a little ball, and then and when we talk later, I'm like, I just got to do better. I got to pick up spares. I got to hit my mark. I got to do this. No, that. When Deshaun Watson plays football, that's literally what's going on. Is that he has no confidence, no swagger, no amp, no hype, no nothing. And his teammates feel that shit. And it and it goes downhill. It starts at the top
I
and goes downhill. I was
I
bowling.
agree.
I was bowling with a group last year at States for doubles and singles, and my buddy Alex, we're very close friends. We are good friends. But as soon as those lights cut on, we are mortal fucking enemies. You would think that like we want to fight one another. Every miss spare, every shot, every bad strike, it is bam, 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 back and freaking forth, man, the entire time. So the group that was with us, with Alex and I, because he was my doubles partner, they didn't really know me. They knew my name because like I've won a county championship before. I talk a lot of shit in Kent. So like around that area, they know who I am, but they never bowled with me. And they got to see that shit firsthand. They're like, this motherfucker is out there. And I'm like, you damn right. Because I may not have the skills to say I am a 200 plus, 250, whatever average bowler. But at the same time, if I come out and act the part, I am the part. Deshaun Watson does not act the part anymore. And ownership, coaching, etc., they need to realize he is not the part anymore. Period. Guys like Trevor Lawrence, I think he can get it back. A little coaching change. I think he'll be all right. Dak, I think the guy's mediocre at best. But maybe if he plays like he's not mediocre at best, get that confidence back. Because, I mean, you can see visually on the sideline between him and CeeDee Lamb, they ain't on the same page. I don't think these
No,
dudes like each other. I really
I
don't.
mean, they both got paid. I think CD is. I think that's just a competitive thing. Obviously, we know really good wide receivers chirp.
You
I
can tell
mean,
CD's a gamer.
yep.
You can tell he's a gamer.
But at the same time, and I mean, this is probably statistically proven. I mean, if somebody could fact check me if they want to, when Dak basically has like 30 or more attempts in the game, like they're below 500 by a lot. You might like when Dak was at his best, that's when they had Zeke
Zeke,
running.
yeah.
They
Tony Pollard.
Dak needs to play complementary football. I think he's a lot like Tua, where when that read isn't there, they can't go make the play. There's no imagination. There's no Mahomes. There's no Josh Allen. Um, there's no Burrow. There's no Lamar. There's none. Like they can't make something happen. It's like, okay, Reed's not there. Reed's not there. It's not there. And then they're getting sacked or throwing it away. Like Dallas needs a running game, point blank. Before they want to come back to relevancy, they need a running game. They need to play complementary football. Period.
Oh, did I also mention that Deshaun Watson is the most sacked quarterback in the NFL? And it's not
Not
close.
surprised.
Like, not close.
Like, listen, I understand that they had a bad O line, but like at the same time, like you can go back to that Washington game. He's missing dudes wide open. That's not on the line. That's not the line's fault.
You know who has a horrible offensive line? The Cincinnati Bengals. You know
You
who's
know
just
who?
fine? Joe Burrow.
Yep. You know who would be the MVP if they were above 500? Joe Burrow.
Listen, man, I saw the opening. Was it the opening drive of last night's game where literally pocket collapses? Everybody went that way, and Joe Burrow hit him with the Kansas City shuffle and went 46 yards to the house with his feet. Deshaun Watson is not capable of that.
Nope.
Dak Prescott
Not
is
at
not
all.
capable of that.
Tua is not capable of that.
These elite quarterbacks, they can do shit like that.
Yep.
And the sooner the Browns realize that, the better off they'll be. And
Well,
again, to
listen,
harp on your
99.
point from at the very beginning of the show, the Cleveland Browns are in the worst situation in professional sports by
Period.
a long shot. And it's because of number 4.
Yep.
Period. But what were you saying?
I mean, but basically, like, yeah, like Tua ain't making that play. None of these guys are making that play. Um, and 99.9% of the organization knows what the problem is, but that 0.1% that controls 51 shares of the team says, nah, we riding.
Facts. Facts.
I hope Haslam just sits back at his chair and just goes, come on. Come
Come
on. Come
on.
on.
Come
He's
on.
not that bad.
Give the guy a chance. Come on.
Well, the stadium still sells out.
Right. His bank account's still fat. You're right. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
And it's 100% wrong of the ownership to do the fans this way. Like from, and I'll wrap this up here in a second because we got an actual good Cleveland team to watch here in a minute. But it's not fair to Jaguars fans to be in the situation they're in. It's not fair to Cowboys fans. And you know what? As much as, I'm not going to put Deshaun on blast because he has definitely reeled it back. He's literally done with his own team, just like I was done with Cleveland.
Yep.
But like, it's not fair to the Dallas fans that they have to deal with terrible ownership and, quite frankly, bad QB play. And it's certainly not fair to the Browns organization where they saw a modicum of success last year by making the playoffs and they wanted to continue that success and they are unable to because number 4 is the QB of the Cleveland Browns. It's not fair.
Yeah. I mean, to kind of come back to your point, it's like the NFL is better, whether you like it or not, when the Cowboys are good, when the Raiders are good. Like even the Browns, like
Definitely the Browns. The Browns have
the,
they have support all across the country.
right. I mean, and these are historic franchises, whether you want to look at them in that way or not. And it's not fair to the fans. Now, I will give the Jacksonville fans some credit. When their team sucks, they don't show up.
You're right.
Like that team, that team is a high candidate team to be relocated. So I don't blame them in the slightest. When that team's good, they'll maybe show up, maybe. But
that's all fair.
Again,
that's all fair.
It's
all right. Closing thoughts for the night as we clean up the deli, getting ready for our show for Wednesday when we actually talk, DFS. The trash, I feel, has been taken out. The Cowboys, you're trash. Jacksonville, you're trash. And Cleveland, you needed the extra large hefty bags because there is so much trash to be taken out in this franchise. The owners, y'all can go straight to Rumpke.
Rumpsky.
Watson, you can go straight to Waste Management. Whatever third party, Kimball, that's another one. Yeah, Kimball.
Yep. Watson just has to go to the dump, man. Just not even a company, to the dump. He needs to go to the land. He needs to go on 77 to the landfill.
Like, remember that episode of SpongeBob when what was he doing? Like he was a painter and like he had that, or he was a sculptor and like Squidward was trying to teach him some shit and and it just like stopped working.
Hit it?
Yeah, and it stopped working after he lost his confidence because Squidward literally took it out of him. That's Deshaun Watson. And he needs to put on that trash bag above his head and go scampering off to the dump, to the dump, to the dump, 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 to the dump, to the he took off. That's Deshaun Watson. Period.
Literally.
So, thank you for hopping on with me, Chill. Thank you all. If you made it to this part of the podcast, make sure you hit that like and subscribe on your way out. Don't forget, Wednesday night, we will be dropping, hopefully, without technical difficulties, another episode. Hey. Yes, it was Baker's fault. But make sure you check us out then. And, for all my deli mates out there, for Studer, for Baker, for Chill, I'm your boy Sully Shaheed, and we'll see you on the next one.